Welcome back. Our next speaker has quite an eye for making art out of PCB designs. He has a wide array of add-ons and even full-blown badges that are out there on the internet and even in his Tindy store. He's here to talk to us about how even when you think you've done absolutely everything right, PCB fabrication can still go awry. Please welcome to the Hackaday Super Conference stage, TwinkleTwinkie.
Hello, I'm TwinkleTwinkie. This is my talk, PCB Art is Pain. So, who am I? I make this stuff. I really like to take PCBs and use them as a unusual medium to make interesting things. Inside jokes, annoying things to sing Baby Shark songs, and demos, and ArcBadge. This talk is primarily about ArcBadge and about how it almost completely fell apart because I asked the fab to do something that turned out very bad. So, this is ArcBadge. It's made up of basically three main parts. You got the top, you've got a spacer, you got the bottom. The bottom's doing all the good stuff. It's got all the hardware on it. And the top is a purely art board to give you that nice effect and everything like that. But it only works if the LEDs can completely shine through correctly. So, here's the specs for the top board. It was made of FR4, the original prototype, was 1.6 millimeters thick, and I had it with red solder mask, black silk, and it was produced by PCB Way. The black silk part is actually what really got me in trouble. So this is what the prototype looked like. I didn't ask them to do black silk because PCB Way doesn't normally do black silk. So for a prototype, I just needed to make sure that my art looked good and everything functioned fine. And it just said prototype because I need to fill the space and get them to stop asking me questions about, is this supposed to have silk screen or not? This is actually was supposed to be the final. On the right, you have the bottom board, and it was final. It was perfect. And I thought the top board was perfect. And as you can see, it has this like really nice black silk screen. And I asked them to do a black silk screen because I really wanted it to just look something a little different. And some of the fabs, I don't really like how they do red. Sometimes it comes out a little orange, but PCB Way's red was actually really great. But they don't do black, but I've done enough boards with them that I got them to do it after fighting with them for a week. And then they're like, okay, we'll do it, but we have to send it to our advanced production fab. And I was like, sure, whatever. But that actually took 2.5 weeks to make. No real big deal, had plenty of time to get it done. But as you can see, this bottom board looks a little different. So on the left here is a completed badge with the prototype board. On the right is with the final board. Now, it might not be too obvious, but the contrast in person is very, very steep and extremely dim, actually. My camera's kind of blowing up how bright it is. And a big part of the importance of this badge was that you'd be able to, if you wanted to, put it under your shirt to have that neat Tony Stark look-alike thing. And that does not work right. But if you look at the spacer here, you can see the LEDs are the right color. It's just that the light is diffusing incorrectly. It's the wrong color. And when you look at them side by side, it starts to become a little more obvious. You can see the pattern at the top on the prototype, and you can't see it here. It means the FR4 material they used was a different kind of material. We speculate that they used a higher quality material. So technically speaking, they did nothing wrong. This is a technically perfect board. But for my artistic use, it's completely useless. So I had to figure out what to do because I had literally already assembled 250 boards, but I didn't have tops for them. So I decided to go ahead and just reorder them with the original white, but to just make sure, for sure, that I had them do it in half. And these pictures kind of show a little bit different. So you can see how dim it is. If you look on the right, how bright the blue is. And so, not good, very bad. And it completely washed out the colors. So the actual final board ended up being white silkscreen and half the thickness. Half the thickness because even if they decided, nuh-uh, we're just going to keep using this other material without telling you, by cutting the thickness in half, it shouldn't matter. There was less for the light to diffuse. So here is the actual final. It looks basically identical, but as you can see on the right here, you can see way more of the copper through the bottom. And that's actually really important because I wasn't trying to diffuse the light as in like spreading it out. The distance from the top board to the bottom board was going to do that for me. But by making it so thin, the light shows through more accurately color-wise. And that's really, really important for this because the whole purpose of this badge, which is on my chest right now, is it has to look cool. And if it looks dim and ugly, like the batteries are dying all the time, that doesn't look cool. That looks lazy. And people had already seen the prototype. They knew what the color should be. So, and I didn't want to misrepresent my project. So I had it remade, got them in half, and then I had 250 coasters to give out after that. And here you can see them side by side, and that's where the contrast, like the difference between them becomes really, really obvious. And that's something that I've made literally over 3 different board designs. I've never seen this before. And I've ordered from this fab dozens of times, and I've never seen that before. So, like I said, technically speaking, neither one of us did anything wrong. But if I had gone ahead and ignored that and sent it on to people who were buying my badge, I would have immediately gotten feedback like, why isn't it as bright? Is the LEDs bad? I don't know. And then that would just like kill confidence in me and to my peers and the other badge making community. It's just an amateur move. And I mean, it's not that expensive to just say, screw it, things aren't right, redo it correctly. Do the job right. Because no one's going to remember the fuck up. Excuse me. They're going to remember how cool it is on the final product. And also, because they were so thin, every once in a while when I replace the top boards, I accidentally put 2 on there. Because someone actually did reach out to me and said, my board doesn't look quite right, but it came with an extra top. Am I supposed to swap them myself? And I was like, no, they shouldn't. Send me a picture. And they said, I was like, that's not right. I was like, could you take the screws off and like just like see if there's more parts? And that's what he sent me back. And I was like, oh, sweet. Well, enjoy the extra coaster. Well, I'm probably a little ahead on this. I apologize. But here's where you can find me. I'm mostly on Twitter. And special thanks to my wife and my daughter, my friends in the Badge Life community, and all the people who have made it possible for me to be here. Thank you so much.